I put Arsenal first, then football after that. Then no, I put Arsenal, Nigeria, then football after that. So you might see me that I get a little bit defensive when it comes to Nigeria and Arsenal. I don't know, two worst combination I can ever have. I think the two worst combo I can ever
Nig-
have as a team, honestly.
Nigeria's headache is different. That one, that one is different because you have the talent,
Uh,
but you don't know where it's going to.
all right. Welcome to the show once again. Let me first start. Let me start with you personally. I was just jumping straight into it. You personally, I've seen everybody, mention a lot about the transfer window and the rest of them. I want to ask you, what has been what's your take concerning what's your rating of the Arsenal transfer window? Honestly, these transfer windows, because I feel it's something we need to talk about, because basically I'm not used to seeing Arsenal like this. And probably, what is your own take on Arsenal's correct this transfer window?
Okay, with this transfer window, I would say I'll rate it probably an eight, a seven or an eight. It depends. Reason being, I guess we've bought players in the positions that we needed, or that we needed to strengthen. In the sense that we've got an out and out forward. We have Gyökeres, who's a goal scorer. Then we have a backup striker who can offer something different in terms of bringing other players into the game a bit better than Gyökeres can. That's the main marquee signing that the club made, obviously. Then we have the backup for Saka, who's been playing pretty much game in, game out, whether it's in the cup competitions or it's in the league. He's literally started probably most of our matches until he got an injury. Like I remember when he got that injury last season against Crystal Palace, he had started in the cup against Palace, which was probably not necessary, but he still started and then started in the game after, which he then got injured in that one. So Noni Madueke is he's coming to ease the pressure, but then obviously now Saka's injured again. But I don't think this time it should be long term anyway. As for Zubimendi, he came in obviously to replace Party, and so far he's done good. Party was probably one of the most important players in that midfield during the first two seasons where we pushed for the title. Whilst the defenders in the so we got him, we got Norgard. Norgard is a utility player. It's a bit like when we had El Neni. El Neni barely ever played, but when he came in, he put in a good shift. Or El Neni, he's a player that I would say gave at least 6 or 7 out of 10 every game that he played. He wasn't one of the ones that will go and give like a 40, 50 yard pass that leads to a goal or whatnot, but he'll break up play, he'll keep the play simple and keep. Norgard is a bit more, it's a bit like him, but he's a lot more of just breaking up the play type of player, which will probably come in play when uh, Zubimendi needs a rest. So that's it's like buying a first team player and then buying his backup in the same window, kind of thing. For the defender, he came on against Liverpool, Mosquera, and he didn't look out of place. So so far, he looks like a decent signing. Obviously, you will still see a few mistakes from him, but he handled himself pretty well in that Liverpool game, so you can't really complain. And he seems to be another versatile one who can go in at right back, because I think I saw him come on at right back against was it Sevilla or Villarreal
I think it's
when
uh I think it's both.
in
I
the
think it came in both games,
oh,
even in the.
Athletic Bilbao, yeah, during the preseason, the last game of the preseason. He came on at right back, so he seems pretty versatile and mobile. Kepa, we're not going to see him for a while until we start playing in the cups anyway. But if you're going to base it off of last season, he's not the worst second choice goalkeeper that you can have anyway. And for 5 million, it's a pretty good deal. Am I missing any signings?
Now,
Eze,
Upek, what's this last guy we picked up from Leverkusen? The
Ah,
is it?
Hinkapie. Okay, Hinkapie and Eze. I forgot about Eze as well. Hinkapie is another versatile player similar to Calafiori, where you can play left center back and left back. Uh, from what I've seen of him, he hasn't played for us yet, but from what I've seen of him, he's a bit more of a proactive defender. So he'll hunt the ball, and most times, according to stats, he will get the ball. So I think that's probably a signing that Arteta's made to I guess supplement Eze in terms of when he plays on the wing. So Eze is probably not going to do as much defensive shifts as the other players. He probably will, but he'll be given a bit more freedom to stay in and around that midfieldish left wing role, which would then make
Alright.
sense for which would then make sense for a better defender coming into that side. Calafiori so far he started the season pretty well, and he's probably as much as Lewis Skelly did well last season. He's probably our best left back, Calafiori, when he's fit.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see how the season goes with him and Hincapie. Unless Hincapie was bought as a backup, but he can't be a backup for either position. So I wonder where or how Arteta's going to solve that problem. Although Arteta's never been one to play one just solely on the price tag. So we'll see how that pans out then.
All right, maybe fair enough. Let me go over that. Let me just chip this one in, like a cheeky one there. This, we have Eze, we have Noni Madueke, we have Bukayo Saka, we have Ethan Nwaneri. What is
Yeah.
your opinion? How do you feel like seeing Nigerians, even though they are not playing for us, seeing Nigerian quality of those matters playing for Arsenal, and then I know we hinted before the show started that you talked about, Nigeria, different ball game. Looking at these quality players that we have, how do you feel seeing them, even though they are in the English colors, how do you feel seeing them at Arsenal? Do you feel any connection, especially to them or something? I don't know, you know, being who we are.
Yes, of course. It's a bit of an odd one because seeing Saka break out, just the name alone tells you that he's Nigerian, and seeing and watching him grow from uh, from when Emery started playing him at left back up until now. It's like, how would I put it? It's like pride, not just because he came from the Arsenal academy, but because of his roots as well. If you follow him closely, you can see and you can tell his upbringing is definitely of a Nigerian household, and how he carries himself with humility and respect for pretty much everybody. Obviously, now he's had a football arrogance, not a person or a thing.
That's not bad, though. That's not bad. That's
Yeah,
not.
which is good. Which obviously you get as you continue growing as a professional. However, as a person, he's still as humble as he started. If you follow him closely, which is testament to his roots. As for Nani and and Eze,
And the one,
they and oh yeah, Ethan as well. Uh, with them, how would I put it? With Nani and Ethan, they're a lot more, would I say, different in terms of the connection with with the motherland. However, the fact that you can tell and you can still see it in their behavior, I think I'll still say it's pride. It's pride, and it's how would I put it? Arsenal being seeing those talents, especially coming from a Nigerian would I say
descent.
ancestry? Yeah, descent, yeah. Um it makes me feel proud. and to see and to hope and see what they can contribute for us in the future is something that's going to be talked about when we start winning trophies. That's all I can say.
Well, speaking on that, that will take me to the next question I want to ask you. I read the news recently now of Bukayo Saka becoming the highest earner at Arsenal. Well deserved. What do you think? Bukayo Saka being the highest earner at Arsenal, I guess his new contract is probably going to make him the highest earner. Do you think it's well deserved?
Of course, there's a he's a player that's been probably it's not probably he's been the most consistent player at Arsenal for the past 7 years, and he's grown into the role of being a leader in the team as well, which, in my opinion, merits a higher salary. If he's the highest earner or not, I don't think that impacts his desire to play the game and his and the way he plays. So it definitely is deserved in the fact that he has grown with the team from the levels that we were just after Wenger left up until now, where he's one of the spearheads of our attack. And he
I,
consistently, season after season, produces moments. And pretty much every season for the past 3, 4 seasons, his level has been going higher and higher. But last season, where he missed probably
Half of the season.
15, 10, 15 games, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I think you are very, very humble. You are still doing this humble of a thing. Me, I'm not humble. Bukayo Saka is still. Let me tell you something. The old thing, even the whole of the UK, the old thing everybody is watching about Arsenal now. Arsenal has to do with Saka. The old Arsenal
Mhm.
team as a whole is the face of the Arsenal team at the moment. I am very, very proud that I'm seeing my own boy from maybe your state here now. Is it Lagos or your state here now? Seeing him being the face of an entity like Arsenal, like the whole of the project is actually in his
Mhm.
face. Let me tell you something. You lose Saka at the moment, there's nothing, there's no project to back. Let me tell you, the old fan. I was seeing a kind of a documentary. I think it was shot by Goal. They said lose Bukayo Saka, then win Champions League. And it was a tough one to pick. And it was nice. I didn't say maybe I'm not talking about being maybe the right thing to do, but for me, having to, think before you make that choice, say, okay, our Arsenal has not won Champions League ever before. Lose Bukayo Saka, but win Champions League, and you see Arsenal fan will still think twice. Every
You
Arsenal fan
know
except
why? In that situation, to lose Saka and win the Champions League would be like it would be bittersweet. I don't even think it would be that sweet because you would have lost your own basically. Your own didn't get to partake in that. That's where the issue is.
exactly, you get
That's where
me.
the
I love
yeah.
the fact that he's the face. I just love it. I love the fact that he is Arsenal at the moment, and I'm happy to see the other ones coming through. It's actually nice. It's actually nice. But generally, who do you think is to be blamed for Arsenal misfortune ever since the manager? Because like big right, this is the big. Oh my, who do you think has been the source of Arsenal woes? Because basically, I have my reservation. I don't want to mention that I've always been vocal about it. I've always been loud about it. But some people think it's the manager, some people think it's this, some people think it's the players, some people think it's some couple of tactics by, some people think it's board. Generally, looking at it, who do you think is the major problem of our woes so far?
Generally, I would say it's a mix. It's a cocktail of different things. It's a cocktail of different things in the sense that let's take it back because that's when we started actually pushing for titles. Forget the one that he won in his first 6 months at the club. That was already nearly set up for him to win. Obviously, he still had to get to the final and then win the final. But um, so 2 seasons ago, we were pushing City. We lost. I think we lost that one by either 5 points or 2 points. I know it was 2 points and the other one was 5 points, something like that. But that season where we were, I won't say we were even imperial. We took every game as it came, and we were winning most of them. The ones that we didn't win for the lack of, would I say, creativity or whatnot, it wasn't down to Arteta. Arteta used the most creative plays that he had, that he had at the time, and they still couldn't break down the teams, the West Hams, the Villas, and it wasn't for the want of trying. And then comes your injury at the back, where Saliba got injured, and then we had to play Gabriel and was it Gabriel and
Rob Holding, Rob
was it
Holding.
Holding? Yeah.
Yes, Rob Holding.
And then you see Holding went to Palace, and then from Palace, where did he go to now?
How?
There's one
I
thing.
don't think he's even playing anymore.
Either he's still at Palace, but we don't see him, or he's already moved from Palace. So I don't even know. So people ignore that fact. Holding is a good squad player that can come in maybe in a cup competition against lower league sides. Fine. But to come up against uh, Premier
City
League
and
teams, Premier League teams, Man City, and so on and so forth, that play week in, week out, and then you're just coming into the side after how many months of not seeing football. It's a bit of a problem. So that season, you can blame it on Saliba's injury, you can blame it on whatever. It could be, and also you can also blame it on, would I say, immaturity, because that's the first time Arsenal and those young players has actually pushed towards a title. The second season, we still hadn't signed a striker to put and a creative player other than Erdegaard. So if you're when you see players double teaming, triple teaming Saka on one side, people forget Erdegaard is also on that side. So even though him and Saka is there, there's a tension of 3 or 4 players concentrated on that side. And when they're isolated, you need another creator or a bit of a better passer towards the other side of the pitch to be able to move the ball, to be able to recycle the ball and then create from the other side. So hopefully now Arsenal have solved it with Zubimendi and Eze. Uh, that's pretty much how we lost that season, from losing to the the mid-table sides like West Ham. I think, did we lose to Palace, or we drew? Or we drew against Palace.
I
So
think it wasn't even Palace we lost to. I think we do. But there was the game that really hampered us. Then was I think the one we drew against. Um, what are these guys? You mean the season we lost the league to City by a couple of points, like when
the
when
second time we lost to City by points, yeah.
yeah.
So the one before this Liverpool one.
Yeah, because that was I think we dropped to Aston Villa. It was the Aston Villa game that we held
Yeah,
on to. That's
at
the
home.
problem.
At home, we lost at home to them, yeah.
And that
And
was
then
all.
from
But hold on,
from there.
who would you hold responsible? The manager. Let's who asked it? Okay, let me say
Oh, for that Villa game,
no for yeah for in general. Who do you hold more of to be responsible? The manager, the players, or the club? Let's just make it that way. Let's just I know everybody has the share of their own.
yeah, it's a bit of, to be honest,
But
it's a bit of a shared responsibility. But for the most part, I'll probably say the club rather than the manager and the players, because the manager's tactics keeps Arsenal in the opposition half. Now, the quality of the players not being able to break down the opposition is down to who the club signed. It's not necessarily the players that he's put on the pitch, because he's put the players on the pitch, and clearly those players are good enough to advance the ball and to hold the ground in the opposition's half. If if the players were not right, or if his selection is not right, then you'll be seeing an end-to-end game. But well, you don't see that. You see us camped in front of their box, but we can't create. That's down to and that was down to recruitment. So you can say sometimes that he is slow to advance the ball. That also comes down to the creativity side of things. So if your creativity isn't the best, or if you don't have, would I say, you don't have like a De Bruyne type player who can pass from 60 yards down and play an inch perfect and play an inch perfect pass, then obviously you're going to advance slowly. Uh, and for last season was just a mess. Last season was a mess, both from everybody, both from
Favour, see, I believe that the club cost last season. They knew they threw it away. See, if you know how pissed and how vexed I am at the moment for last season, all they needed to do was get him just get him Watkins, just get him a striker. We were playing at a point we didn't have a forward player. Like we didn't have Eaton was out, Trossard was out, the guy was out, everybody was out, and this man left him short. That's why I said I'm not even impressed with this season because yes, they are only covering up for what they did last season. They've messed up. The club messed up a lot last season because he needed that help. We could have pushed. We could have, even if it is Champions League, would have won. Do you think we lose that game? Do you think we would have lost against PSG if we had enough firepower? If we had a striker?
if we had a striker, no, we had chances. We created a lot of chances against PSG. Granted, PSG also created, but then it's a game of goals. And goals wins games, and then PSG scored their goals.
Do you
Plain and
realize that?
simple.
Do you realize that the only player that scored for us, an outfield player after the semi-finals against Real Madrid was Saka. Every other person, we had every other person. We had Gabriel out. We had we were just chop changing and trying to make shift right
But yeah,
back,
I
make
also
shift
thought
to
Gabriel was
striker.
injured in that game.
Gabriel was
But
injured. He
then,
wasn't in the game. Gabriel was
yeah,
fouled.
I think we had played. I think he was injured before the Madrid second leg,
Exactly.
or was it even first leg he was injured?
Yeah, he
Mm.
missed I think
He
it
missed the
was the game
Madrid game
before
at the
Real Madrid.
Bernabeu.
Yes, 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 yes. It was out. And then look at it. We are playing with a makeshift striker, makeshift winger. One was playing on the wings. Like, it's all, it was a mess. And the club, and I'm telling you, anybody can say whatever they like. But me personally, I hold the responsibility. We should look at they
If
went
we
to the
had
final. Oh, I can
if
hear
we
you.
had signed a striker in
January.
January, the results could have been different, or it might have been the same, depending on how quick the striker gels. But then again, it's a risk. It's a risk that you have to take in terms of actually wanting to succeed, even if it was on loan. But the club apparently did not want a player on loan, so I can't understand the whole.
Ordinary Watkins would have made a difference there in that season. Ordinary Watkins. All we needed was
That's
a
very
forward
true.
player. Ordinary
That's very
Watkins would
true.
have made a difference, honestly.
But
Now,
I
and
have a feeling why they didn't go for Watkins is because they had sights on other strikers. And if you had signed Watkins, because Villa, especially in the January window, teams tend to spike their price. So I think Villa wanted probably 50 odd million for Watkins in January. If you go down to them now this January, they'll probably be saying he's like 30 million or so. Because his form also has dropped as well.
mm, mm.
And the fact
All
that
right.
they sold John Duran, the second striker, also kind of made it difficult for us to negotiate with them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but still, I put the blame on the board. I still do not. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
cannot take it away from them. I feel just
He-
they are the key
yeah,
thing. They are
people
the
say
key.
Arteta's been backed. Yes, he's been backed, but there's been key moments where he should have been given a few extra. Not a few
Yeah,
extra, but
that's
it's not even a
all.
few extra. Like you have an injury crisis, your first choice striker or your actual striker on paper is injured, then your midfielder that you played as a striker now, he he has been playing probably the last how many games, and then just after or just before, I think it was just before the transfer window finished, isn't it?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that Havertz got injured,
That
and
was
then
what actually paid me the more because the transfer window just we had chances. Like it was not as if the whole thing went AY after the window closed. It was before the window closed, but they didn't do anything. They still folded their hands and watched the season crumble. And
yeah,
they watched it, and that was what's annoying till today. And that's why I go against big group most of the time when they say, "Oh, he has been back," and they will tell you now. Do you know the agenda they push on now? They tell you Ateta has spent 1 billion euros now. That's the agenda they are pushing
Yeah.
now. 1
Well,
billion, 1 billion euros.
well, the number is factual, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Yeah, that's the problem. It doesn't tell the whole story.
Anyway, that's that. Let me just on in one word. What's your expectation for this season? This season for us now. What's your expectation for this season? Like you,
So
not nothing. Your own expectation. What are you expecting for this season?
I'm expecting. Well, what do I expect? I expect success. To be honest, I still think we're in a good position for the league. It's only 3 games in anyway, so depending on the only issue I have now is your careers going away for international duty, which means
He
that
played
Arteta
yesterday. It was
can't.
fine. He played yesterday. It was
Hmm?
fine. He wasn't injured. I watched his
No,
game.
no, no. I know he was fine. I'm talking about in terms of getting the tactical setup with Arsenal right.
Okay.
So obviously, if he wasn't selected, then yeah, he could have been working with Arteta in this little period to fine tune the little things. However, he will still, I think, probably give him. I reckon by the start of November, he should be firing on full cylinders. Hopefully, because he came to us a little overweight in terms of his physique, and he's starting to shed now. So he should be getting back to full fitness. Not to as for the other cups, well, United are out of the Carabao, so that's one less tricky fixture to worry about.
You had to put that one in there. You had to put that one in there.
I had to I had to because I don't know how you lose to Grimsby. And honestly, they should have lost 3-0. They should have lost 3-0. But the
They cheated
referee claimed
and
that
they still
Maguire
lost.
didn't touch the ball on purpose. That's the biggest scam. They could have lost 3 or 4-0 in that match, especially if
Yeah,
that third goal was allowed to go in.
yeah.
But at least that's one less tricky fixture to navigate.
Yeah.
Because if you draw United home or away, it's a bit of an issue because
We lost to them against
United,
Everton. We lost to them. The quarter. Is it
yeah,
quarterfinal? We
exactly.
lost to them.
United tend to try to play better against us, especially in cup competitions. In the league, we have their number, but in the cups, it's still 50-50.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Anyway,
uh,
your definition of I want to know your definition of success. Like like for me personally, I'm not here. I've not waited 6 years. I'm not saying I would. If we win the FA Cup or the Carling Cup, I will celebrate shamelessly. I'm always a shameless fan. Like I go out there and act shameless. Like I don't act. If we win only the Carling Cup, I'm going to still be shameless. If we win the FA Cup, but I have not waited 6 years, to celebrate FA Cup. I want a major.
mm,
And this is just on Ateta, not the club, but generally on Ateta. I think a major is a success for me. Maybe Premier League, maybe Champions League. One, either I don't know how, but either plus the cup,
you
I'm
see,
fine. But I won't just be okay with just ordinary FA or Carling Cup.
okay.
Even if we win both,
Well,
that's what I mean.
well, okay. What I would say to that is winning the FA Cup is it's not bad, yeah, but it will also that would also be dependent on where you finish in the league or where we finish in the league rather. If maybe we win the FA Cup and then finish fifth or something, that's not a good season. That's a horrible season. The same way Tottenham fans are claiming they had a better season by finishing 17th and
Don't even bring them. Those guys annoys me. They annoy me a lot, a lot.
finish no, I don't even blame them. It's pundits trying to obviously create clicks and whatnot. But you cannot tell me that a team finished 17th and won a a Europa League for that matter. Obviously, it's still a European trophy, but there's no way you finish one position above relegation, win a trophy in Europe. What I've always said silently is that the Champions League and the Europa League, at the end of the day, they are cup competitions.
Yeah,
They're literal cup competitions. It's not a league where everyone fights and keeps fighting until the end.
yeah.
it reaches a point where if you just lose one match, you're gone,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
can happen
yeah,
to anybody. So
yeah, yeah.
it's literally a cup. I don't want to call it just a cup, but it's a cup at the end of the day. So anybody can get to the final based on different different how would I put it, different
Circumstances depends.
circumstances. Yeah.
Things, yeah, a lot of things
Like
vary.
like PSG, PSG is probably one of the best Champions League winners in recent history in the way that they operated through the competition. Yes, they lost to us at the start when it was a league phase and whatnot. But from that time, their attacking and their tactical awareness kept getting better and better and better and better. Obviously, creating probably one of the best teams in recent times. Then Tottenham's one. There were times when they nearly got kicked out the competition and they still somehow ended up winning it against United. And one
That's
thing
another
I
slap on
would
their
say,
face.
yeah,
That's
is
another slap on United face. Another slap. How
hmm?
would it spore? Nando's
What's that?
FC. Brava. Nando's FC. Nando's.
Ah, no, but that's 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 where it is because if Arsenal now finishes sixth, seventh, and then wins a FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, people will still ask why you finished seventh and then won those two trophies. So it's not necessarily it's like a win lose situation at the same time. So it doesn't
Yeah,
make any sense.
yeah, yeah.
And then if you finish second again,
Yeah, they will
once again
say
you're the bridesmaid.
second again, ole ole.
Exactly. So I reckon, I hope, and I reckon, I think we will probably, depending on how Liverpool adjust to their new players. Obviously, they won 3 games out of 3, and they've got new players. But as they're winning the games, they haven't dropped points yet anyway. So we'll see how their first few weeks goes when they start facing the likes of Chelsea and stuff. They will have issues against people against teams like Chelsea, to be honest with you.
Honestly,
Because
I've been worried
Chelsea,
about
Chelsea's
worried
another
about
one
this.
we should be looking at this season.
I'm watching. In fact, I'm watching them with one eyes. I'm watching them with bombastic side eye. I'm watching Chelsea with bombastic side eye. Honestly, those
Chelsea is
guys
one
are.
team we should be looking at.
And then you know one thing about Chelsea fan that is funny.
Mm.
One thing funny about Chelsea fan is that their fan is they are the worst in this part of the world. Like I don't know about you over there. Chelsea fan
Yeah,
over there, over here, they are worse. Like they are the worst. Like they are very rough. They are very loud. They are very very destructive. I just don't like them. Like look on my 8 list, they are number one. I still prefer United fan to them. Like over there, like Chelsea fan are kind of they don't
You
allow
see,
USP. They are more troublesome.
it's
Like you
because
see USP
Chelsea.
higher.
The thing is because Chelsea, they've had scattered success. It's not been like flowing success, but they've had success. Then they've had a little dip, but they still had success in that period. So that's why they still have a thing. They're not like Arsenal fans or Liverpool who had to suffer for a while before coming back. But then United are in a similar position, but the only reason why United fans are a lot less talkative now is because of where they keep finishing in the league. Because you can't keep winning trophies and finishing eighth, ninth, 15th. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make
Anyway,
sense.
let me just wrap this up because I don't want to. I know you have to go be somewhere. Let me just wrap this up now. Let me just wrap
Mm.
this. I don't know maybe you wouldn't like me to bring this up, but I will just throw it up to you because I said I was going to do it, even though I was supposed to wrap
Okay.
it up on us now. But I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring you back to the international break. Now I know the players are rested and hopefully we have. I'm going to bring you to Nigeria. I know you said you tried to distance your way away from Nigeria football. We're playing today by 5. We're playing by 5. The World Cup qualifier, we South Africa had won yesterday. Every of our proper right of us, we just need to see for the moment we need to keep winning. I don't know what's going on. We just there is no hope. It doesn't look as if there's hope, but we just need to keep winning. Now, generally, how do you feel the heat like being there? Rival fans like other countries like African countries come at you because Big Group knows. I know when Big Group comes and he says some of the Zimbabwe fans, some Libya fans come to him and tell him, oh, this and that. And that. How often, how close is the heat when Nigeria loses to you personally? Well, but basically, you just do not get involved.
For me, I don't typically get involved. It depends. So with Nigeria, it's a bit of a, would I say, love-hate relationship. I've been overseas for the past 12, not 12, sorry, 14 years, close to 15 now. So it's a bit of, if I watch them, I watch them. If I don't, I don't. But I'll follow them and I'll support them 100% in like the World Cups and whatnot. Even England, the international team, I'll say I probably follow them more than I follow Nigeria. However, I'm not that invested in England as much either. Obviously, I would like them to win a trophy, England that is, and I also love Nigeria to win a trophy. Each time I watch Nigeria, obviously I want to watch them win. I followed them throughout the AFCON, and they played well up until the final. Even in the final, I reckon they played. I think they played well. However, obviously, a moment of magic or whatnot, or fate even, because who scored the
Fate,
goal that
fate,
beat
fate.
us? It
That's
was
fate. That
Sebastian
was fate.
Haller.
That was fate.
Huh?
It was
Yeah,
predestined. That was fate. Ivory Coast got
yeah,
that
it
on
was
fate.
fate because if you look at the whole thing, in the sense that they nearly got knocked out, Ivory Coast, and then
Best singer. They
and
came in
then the
as
player
best.
that scored the goal in the finals, Sebastian Haller,
Yeah,
just recovered from his, I think, cancer surgery or so,
yeah,
coming in to win the trophy for his nation.
yeah.
That's I can't hate that. I can't say, oh, it's undeserved, because it's fate, and there are things like fate in football. So yeah,
Uh,
in
Let me
life
ask you. Let me
actually, in
just
general, it's not
let's
even
let's let's
just football.
let's wrap it up on that. Let me ask you. Your prediction: Nigeria, the two games: Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Rwanda. That is today, and then we play South Africa on maybe on Tuesday or on Monday. Your prediction?
My heart
I
says
know I'm
it's a
putting you in the
draw.
corner. Don't even go. Don't give me that energy, please. Which kind
I'm
draw? I
not even
beg.
going to lie. My mind says it's a draw, because this manager, I don't know. This manager, yeah. I remember for his first 6 or 7 games, they said he
Yeah,
hadn't lost. But when you look at it, there's been quite a few draws in that winless streak there.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's like he hasn't found a balance on how to get us to win games. Granted, granted, some of the draws that he had was caused by individual mistakes, which is not exactly something he can account for. But Nigeria, I don't know if they have the mentality to go out there and take the game by the scruff of the neck and actually win, especially when they come up against South Africa. South African players, they're not exactly the most tactically astute, but their playing style might be a bit frustrating for the Nigerian side.
You know what? You know what? Let me hold you on that. South Africa, I think one of the things that why I believe South Africa look as if they are good is because one way or the other, I don't know how. I don't know who did our own for us. We are not
It's because
organized.
South, it's
Africa are
because
organized. They are properly.
the South African players, they play off the cuff. They're not as structured in the sense as okay, you have to pass to this player to pass to this player. Like they can, how would I put it? Uh, how would I put it? It's like watching South Africa play, or seeing how South Africa plays. It's like watching the Brazil of the Ronaldinho days, in terms of they're so creative from anywhere without having to really dependent on transitioning the ball, which obviously helps pin down who's where. But then Nigeria has enough flair players and enough tactically aware players, but they still don't seem to know how to use them. And that's where the issue is. And then who is our left back, by the way, in Nigeria?
Let me play with Felix Agu. Felix Agu.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Felix Agu will be playing in left back. Ola will play the right back.
Okay. I think they can swap as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know too can play both. Yeah, they're both very
Yeah.
good. And you also have Benjamin Frederick also, and really,
Okay.
and I think when we talk about quality, Osime is like the game changer. The guy, we have everything. Like,
He is, but I remember when Nigerians or or no, it's not Nigerians. The coach was giving him a stick for uh not playing to his full ability or something, which didn't make
eh,
sense because if you watched him, even when he was injured, um, he ran his legs into the ground for us.
yeah,
He ran his leg into the ground for us, and that's not necessarily what you see for a top striker doing. Typically, they will like to let the other team players run for them and then create for them. Like if you
yeah,
watch him at Galatasaray, he runs for the team, but also he knows when to stay in the box and finish his chances,
wait,
which he's done
exactly.
time and time again. But Nigeria would let him run all the running, and then when he gives them the ball, the creation is not quite there, which is something that has been lacking for a long time. Because generally speaking, he should be a player that should be hitting towards the top scorers for the nation by now. But the fact
Yeah,
that the
it's close.
team don't know how to play it's not even know how to play to his strength, but doesn't create enough for him. He hasn't reached that landmark yet.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show, Precious.
Thanks for
Honestly, it's
having
nice
me.
to actually speak to you. Thank you so much. Viewers, this big man, Precious. I wanted to get him and Big Rook on the show, but Big Rook ducked out in the last minute because he was scared that somebody is going to put him on toast this morning. I'm going to actually tag Big Rook in this video because I want him to know that he was almost on toast. Because I intentionally wanted to bring him on toast because I know him. He's always like that. But big up, Precious, for showing up, and I would like to get you on. So hopefully, I'll be able to get you on and Big Rook on. Basically, you need to continue your conversation here and let us put an end to it once and for all. But hopefully, the international break, hopefully we win. Then we will talk more about Arsenal. Thank you so much for being on the show, guys. Subscribe, like the channel, and if you want him to be to come back on, come and put the like on the channel. Let us just put an end to this Arsenal agenda. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much. Thank you, Precious, for being on the show. Thank you so much. I
It's
bet you.
Favour, but,
Oh,
but yeah.
hey, boss, saw me. Ah, oh, sorry. Don't mind
No
me.
problem.
Big up yourself. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.
All right.